Kidnapped at gunpoint, a bout with malaria, and a degrading movie experience. Rebel Wilson is known for making people laugh, but her real life isn't nearly as funny. Rebel Wilson has said that she and her siblings were extremely well-behaved as children, but that didn't stop their father from lashing out at times. Wilson spoke on the Diary of a CEO podcast about her father's anger issues.
I think because he was so angry all the time, and money was a source of fighting in the household.
She recalled a time when she and her siblings poured water in their beds in an attempt to cool off during the hot Australian weather. It didn't go well.
It was like a switch would flick, and he'd just go really angry and would just start whacking us.
In 2013, Wilson's father died from a heart attack. The actor had made peace with him by that point and wrote him a letter that she put in his pocket after he died. Wilson shared the letter in her memoir, Rebel Rising, which read in part, "I want you to know that I forgive you. I will strive to find love. I will no longer be afraid of it." In 2021, Wilson opened up about a terrifying experience she endured while visiting Mozambique with a group of women. She told host Ant Middleton of Straight Talking that she was briefly kidnapped by men with guns while on her vacation, saying in the interview, "They took us to this house in the middle of nowhere." Wilson went on to reveal that she felt she handled the situation well, emerging as the leader of her group. She told Middleton, "They sat us down. I said, 'Everybody link arms.' I'm petrified in the night they might want to take one of the girls or something. Luckily, we weren't harmed." When she and her group were told they could leave, they did so without question. She said, "We got back on that truck and just got back out of there and then crossed the South African border a few hours later." As for why she and the other women were targeted, Wilson has a theory. "I think maybe those guys used us to smuggle illegal things in the bottom of the truck." Like many people, Rebel Wilson has a fear of insects, but her anxiety stems from a frightening experience she had as a teenager. While she was living in Africa during a gap year, she contracted an infectious and potentially fatal mosquito-borne disease.
I went to live in Africa after high school. I'm like a gap year, and got malaria real bad and was in hospital.
Wilson's brush with death had a life-changing side effect. She experienced hallucinations.
And I hallucinate that I was an actress and that I was really great and I win an Academy Award.
She went on to say that it was so vivid that she could see herself even giving an acceptance speech.
I was like,
"You don't do the hits.
Listen up, y'all, I got something to say. It's about this Oscar that I won today."
Wilson left the hospital with the goal of becoming an actor, although she didn't quite have the support of those around her.
And then everyone was like, no, we think your malaria has demented your brain.
While Wilson emerged from her near-death experience with the determination to become an actor, she soon realized it wasn't going to be as easy as she'd expected. Wilson attempted to study acting seriously and set her sights on Australia's National Institute of Dramatic Art, only to be rejected by the school a soul-crushing 5 times. She told the New York Times, "When some people would say, 'But how did you keep going?' or 'You always seem to have this self-belief,' I would go, 'Because I saw it happen.'" It turned out Wilson really did have the stamina to make her dream a reality. She auditioned for close to 30 different roles before finally landing the part of Bryn in 2011's runaway hit Bridesmaids. On SiriusXM's The Jess Cagle Show, Wilson explained that she originally auditioned for Melissa McCarthy's role in the film. Bryn wasn't even supposed to exist.
And I guess they liked my audition, that they added me into the film, essentially.
Rebel Wilson has a larger-than-life persona, so it's difficult to imagine that she was ever uncomfortable around strangers.
You call yourself Fat Amy?
Yeah, so Twig is like, you don't do it behind my back.
But when Wilson was growing up in the suburbs of Sydney, Australia, she was so incredibly shy that it turned into a serious problem. The actor spent a lot of time alone and isolated herself because of her social anxiety, which worried her mother. Her mother's solution? Acting classes. 14-year-old Wilson was not a fan of the idea at all, but had little say in the matter. She was dropped off at an acting class. She told the Los Angeles Times, "It was so embarrassing. I'm there, my face is red from crying, my mom has left, I'm stuck for the next 90 minutes. But then something amazing happened that would change Wilson's life. She said in the interview, "The teacher came up and asked my name, and I said, 'Hi, I'm Rebel,' in an American accent. It was the only way I could deal with this traumatic situation. I became a character instantly, and then I just started making stuff up." Wilson spent plenty of time in her life feeling unhealthy and attempting to lose weight. She admittedly has a sweet tooth and has said that she's tried fad diets at different points, but didn't see lasting results. The actor came to realize that some of the weight she'd gained was due to the pressure that comes along with fame.
I think what I mainly suffered from was emotional eating.
Wilson decided that she needed to take a holistic approach to weight loss and work on herself mentally, including looking within, to discover why she wasn't valuing herself more and learning to have a better sense of self-worth. According to the actor, turning 40 was empowering for her and helped her take control, not just of her weight, but her career and overall health as well. Throughout her career, Wilson has embodied characters who are confident in their size.
Luckily, one of the gifts I got given was that I was smart, and so I knew, I used being overweight to my advantage. And
She told Vulture, "When I first walked into my agency, WME, they signed me because I was distinctive. I didn't look like every other girl in LA, and they liked that. I looked like someone an audience could relate to." That turned out to be a double-edged sword, though. As Wilson explained in her memoir, "The agency liked me fat because they got hundreds of thousands of dollars in commission for each film where I played the fat funny girl." She worried that she'd been pigeonholed and that losing weight would work against her. It seemed Wilson's instincts were correct. Even people on her team didn't fully support her health journey. She told the New York Times, "There were some people that were like, 'Oh, we don't think she's funny anymore,' or 'Now she's lost me as a fan because I can't relate to her anymore.'" In June 2022, Wilson shared the news on Instagram that she was in a relationship with Ramona Agruma. She captioned a photo of the cute couple, writing, "I thought I was searching for a Disney prince, but maybe what I really needed all this time was a Disney princess." She included heart and rainbow emojis and the hashtag #LoveIsLove. While this post didn't raise any red flags, Wilson's coming out story was far from fair. The actor was pushed to go public with her new relationship by an Australian media outlet. The Sydney Morning Herald admitted they'd given the actor a deadline to comment on her relationship with Agruma, insinuating they were going to publish the information themselves if Wilson didn't. Wilson returned to social media after her initial announcement to comment on the situation, writing in a tweet, "Thanks for your comments. It was a very hard situation, but trying to handle it with grace." Despite the uncomfortable situation, Wilson truly had found love. She and Agruma tied the knot in September of 2024 in a gorgeous ceremony on the Italian island of Sardinia. In November 2022, Wilson and Agruma welcomed the birth of their miracle baby. Daughter Royce Lillian Elizabeth Wilson was born via surrogate, and her moms were over the moon with joy. But the journey to motherhood was a difficult one, wrought with devastation. The first obstacle came when Wilson was told by her doctor that her weight might be an issue when it came to harvesting her eggs. The actor told People magazine, "He looked me up and down and said, 'You'd do much better if you were healthier.' I was taken aback. I thought, oh God, this guy's so rude." But it was a wake-up call, and Wilson embarked on a journey to get healthier for the sake of her future child. Nevertheless, additional difficulties followed. Wilson, who has polycystic ovary syndrome, learned that the egg she had frozen did not survive the thawing process. She explained, "So I'd lost a huge amount of weight and been through 3 surgeries at that point and no viable embryos. It was devastating. Eventually, there would be a viable pregnancy, and Wilson decided a surrogate would be the best option." She told Today, "With just 1 embryo, I decided to go with surrogacy. Physically, I could have carried the baby, but there was a much higher statistical chance it would work with surrogate. Luckily, everything went well, and Wilson's posts on Instagram show what a proud mama she is."
I've got an amazing partner, and now I have a gorgeous baby, Royce.
In her 2024 memoir, Rebel Rising, Wilson dropped a bombshell when she alleged that Sacha Baron Cohen sexually harassed her while the two were filming the 2016 film The Brothers Grimsby. She wrote, "It felt like every time I'd speak to SBC, he'd mention that he wanted me to go naked in a future scene. I was like, I don't do nudity, Sasha." Apparently, the awkwardness didn't stop there. Wilson alleged that Baron Cohen had abruptly advised her to perform a, we'll say, intimate act as part of their performance. According to Wilson, Baron Cohen specifically pulled his pants down and asked her to use a finger to penetrate him on screen. Wilson continued working on the film after her agent and lawyer encouraged her to be professional. But once the experience was over, she got more clarity. She wrote, "It really sank in that all this wasn't something that could be laughed off. I relayed to the producers that I would not be doing any promotion for the film.
it was an experience that left me feeling humiliated and degraded as a person.
The movie tanked, which Wilson sees as karma, but she made clear in her book that her goal wasn't to cancel anybody, writing, "I'm sharing my story now because the more women talk about things like this, hopefully the less it happens." As for Cohen, he fervently denied Wilson's claims. In March 2024, his rep released a statement to Variety labeling Wilson's comments as false. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE, 4673.